Three. Hey! It's National Volunteer Week. This is the Lost and Foundry Show 2024. It's April. We're celebrating volunteers today. We're celebrating you who volunteer. Hopefully we're inspiring you to volunteer today by telling you about the people who are doing volunteering here at the Foundry, some of the cool opportunities that have happened in the last year. But before we get into all of that, and we're going to go over numbers and financial value, all that stuff. Before we get into that, I'm here with Brandy, who is our community engagement coordinator, which is just a fancy way of saying organizing volunteers and making sure they're doing the right thing at the right place at the right time. But before you became the community engagement coordinator, you were a volunteer at one point.
Yes, I was.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. So many years ago, like 2013, we brought the Freedom Group from Church of the Highlands here for the women. The men were already doing it. It was the first time that the women were able to do it. So we were leading that small group here for the women, and that small group actually still continues to this day. And then I became a mentor. Oh. So I was leading the Freedom Groups, helping co-lead and lead the Freedom Groups, and then I became a mentor.
Yeah. So what is it that kind of drew you to becoming a volunteer?
So I think just choices that I made when I was younger, and then finding God and realizing there were other women that may be in the same situation that I was in or made some of the choices that I made. And once I found God and realized, oh my gosh, I am worthy. I can do this. I can have a great life through Christ. I wanted to give back in that way. And so that's where the Foundry kind of came along. I personally went through the Freedom Group and it changed my life. And then I heard about the Foundry and I was like, what a great combination to be able to take this curriculum into this program and help these women.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to celebrate volunteers today, all of the great things you guys do. And if you're someone who doesn't volunteer and today inspires you, this is the person that you need to connect with. It's really easy. It's really simple. We'll go over that at the end. So stick around. Stay tuned. It's National Volunteer Week. You guys are awesome. All right, let's talk about some standout volunteerism that's happened in the last year. I've got a couple of examples here that we'll just quickly go through. Some ladies donated like 100 blankets.
Yes. So we had these women who have a blanket ministry. And so they individually got together as a group and individually made blankets for every girl in our program. And they actually brought 30 extras. So as new girls come into the program, they are greeted with a new blanket to have also.
Yeah, so these are handmade blankets that they brought. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you're someone who has had hard times, been in addiction, and you come into our program and things are weird and it's alien a little bit, to have a homemade, handmade blanket, it's like coming home to grandma. I mean, how incredible is that?
Yes.
Right over here, also in the Women's Center, a volunteer basically redid a whole room and made us a quiet room.
Yes. So one of the new volunteer opportunities that we probably have had since last year is called Adopt a Room. And it is where you can pick a room and remodel it, paint it. So we had someone come in and there is a room, we call it the Quiet Room for the women. And it's a place where they watch movies and just kind of hang out together. And so Laura Gossett, she is actually an interior designer, came in and everything is brand new. With they painted, it's got a brand new couch, beautiful decor. It is homey and comfortable, and it is absolutely a stunning room now. Yeah. So the girls get to go in there and watch movies and just feel at home, feel loved. They feel loved.
Yeah, and that's something that would have been tough for us to have done for the ladies, right? Because it takes an attention to detail that someone who's an interior designer needed to do. And when you go in the room, it feels...
Oh, it feels amazing.
It feels like going home to your living room.
It does. Yeah. It really does.
Okay, a couple of other standout, opportunities that have happened this year. UAB School of Optometry went up to the farm and helped men, do their glasses needs and check out their eyes, which I think is really cool. Also at the farm, Wallace State administered GED test up there, which is so incredibly important. And that's something that happened, we didn't have to go pay for a service or anything like that. Wallace State did that for us, which is incredible. Another one that happens here in Bessemer, which I'm a huge fan of, is the Brown Barber Beauty School.
Yes.
They cut the hair for the men and women.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, talk about that.
Every week, we get to send men and women down to the Brown Barber Beauty School,
Yeah.
and they get free haircuts. So
Oh, yeah,
it is
okay.
awesome. They love their haircuts. It's a great partnership. It's been going really smoothly. And a lot of times the program participants come in and they may go the whole stint here without getting a haircut. So it's a very good treat for them.
Yeah, and the theme that I want to keep tying this back to is that when someone comes to the Foundry, sometimes they're left without dignity, without all the little things that make you feel like a person. And from your own homemade blankets to getting your eyes checked, these are all things that build up dignity. And getting a haircut is so
Yes.
dignifying.
Who doesn't
right?
love a fresh haircut?
Right. I
Yes.
see all these videos on social media of these barbers like showing clients before and after. And it's incredible the look on someone's face when their haircut fits them. It's
Yes.
just right.
Yes.
And it builds confidence. And that's something you need in life,
does.
right? Those are some of the opportunities that really stood out to me. But there's also people who have really stood out to me over this last year. The first person that came to mind was John White and his monthly meals.
Yes. So John White started off coming like every few months. He would stay up all night, cook this amazing meal, and feed lunch to the program participants that were here on the Bessemer campus. And it has turned into, now we're rolling like once a month to where he's coming so much that the program participants, they know his name. And all I have to do is mention his name and they know. They get so excited because he just brings something with flair every time, and it's always so good.
Yeah. And the kind of impressive thing to me about John is he's doing all this manual labor with the food. He's the one buying the ingredients and doing all that too, right? But then when he gets here, it's not about the food. It's about the people who the food is going to, and he takes a special interest in them.
Yes, he does.
So really big standout. Let's talk about Dina and modesty.
Yes. So last year at our Hearts of Hope event, our fundraiser for the women's program, it was about volunteers. And so two of the volunteers that were in attendance that day, who were already volunteers, really took that opportunity and they dove headfirst in after that. They both became mentors. They have been lunchtime speakers. They have, with their church, raised money to donate bedding for the program participants. They've done so much. They really just dove headfirst.
Yeah, incredible. And that's everything we hope for in volunteers
Yes.
is that you come here and you see all the amazing work and you can't help but do more and
Yes.
help more. And we don't want to burn you out or anything, but get here
Yeah.
and see it. There's one more person I would like to mention, and it's someone who I see every Monday morning. She's teaching a group of ladies.
Yes, Miss Nancy.
Yeah.
Yes. So Miss Nancy comes every week, even when there's been life challenges in her own personal life. She still showed up for the women here, and it's been beautiful. The women love her. She loves them, and she is so precious.
Yeah. There's so many people who give their time and their talent and their treasure, and we just want to say thank you. And there's people that deserve recognition. They deserve for us to say their name on the podcast,
Yes.
and we just don't have time to name all those people. People like Tommy Schrock over at the Men's Center, or Miss Jenny
Jenny
over
Gray.
here. And you guys do incredible work, and there's so many of you, and we just want to say a big thank you. We'll try to thank you individually as often as we can, and maybe this week we'll have opportunities to thank you. But I mean, to take a part of yourself and to give it away is a huge feat. It's a big accomplishment. And really, at the end of the day, it's what God has commanded us to do, right? To be his hands and feet. And when you come here and you give a little bit to the participants, God will take that moment of faith and turn it into something big. And we see it every week at the Foundry. Participants who, when they're leaving here, the first name they mention is a volunteer who did so much for them and showed them love. And sometimes for us as staff members, it's like, oh, these people are paid to be here, or they're the warden in a way. There's like kind of negative titles that can be. But for a volunteer, they know this person is giving of their time freely, and it means so much to them. So again, if you give in any way, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so we've talked about individuals and how valuable you are to us, but I think the fact that we track the hours and that we can put a number on it
Yes.
puts it all into perspective. So let's talk about last year, 2023. How many hours did we have of volunteering?
So in 2023, we had over 8,000 hours of volunteering.
All right. And there's a national, a volunteer is worth X amount of money. We multiplied that out. So how valuable was volunteering in 2023?
We're looking at $258,000.
Wow. So last year, volunteers for us were valued at over $250,000, which is
huge.
It's hard for me to believe, that there's that much value happening here. And we see the results in the participants.
Yes,
right.
do.
We see those results, but it's just hard to believe that many volunteers are coming here and doing this.
Yes.
Right. And to be fair, we do the best we can to track the hours, but we don't get to track all the volunteer hours, not every single one. So that number is actually higher. This number also doesn't keep up with John White's food costs.
Correct. Or cooking all night long.
Or cooking all night long. Or the gas that Miss Jenny has to put in her car to get down here.
Correct.
And all the little things that people buy and do. And so $250,000 probably looks more like $500,000, maybe higher, who knows? But we see your value. It's incredible. And year to date, we're already at over.
So right now we're sitting at over 1,400 hours, which is going to put us right at about $45,000.
Wow.
Just for this year.
Just for this year.
Yes.
So we're going to try to do more, create more opportunities. And man, there are a lot of opportunities ready right now that we can beat that number this year and keep doing great work. If you were inspired by the volunteers and the life change happening that we talked about today, and you want to be a part of that and you want to serve, super simple, super easy. You can sign up and have an opportunity in your calendar, on your calendar today. Really simple. Go to foundryministries.com/serve, and there you can fill out an application. We'll get your application approved, and then you can sign up to be a mealtime speaker or do letters of encouragement. Maybe you want to start a donation drive, or you want to make a meal and bring a meal and feed the participants. I bet the thing that you're thinking of that you already want to do is already on the site. And if it's not, email Brandy and we'll get it on there.
Yes,
right?
we will make it.
We want you here doing the work, and we're not going to gatekeep and keep you from being here, right? We want you here. It's easy, it's simple. Go to foundryministries.com/serve and get that started today. That's National Volunteer Week. We're going to do more stuff throughout the week. We'll have posts going out. We're going to try to highlight some more people. So stay tuned. Stick around. Thank you for joining the Lost and Foundry Show. Thank you for joining us this week on the Lost and Foundry Show. See you next month.